At the Mid-Autumn Palace banquet, I was pushed out to perform for the tyrant. Just as I was about to offer a toast to muddle through, I suddenly heard the inner thoughts of the tyrant Huiyi. Another toast, huh? Every concubine comes to offer a toast. I haven't even eaten all night. And I've already had a dozen drinks. Why don't you all just drink me to death? Sooner or later, I'll have all these people in the harem beheaded. My hand shook, and I spilled most of the wine in fright. I immediately replaced the wine cup with the food box I had brought. I am not skilled in singing or dancing, but I am good at cooking. This bowl of fermented rice soup is warming. Please enjoy it, Your Majesty. The head eunuch beside Huiyi caught the signal, stepped forward and took the food box. He tested it for poison with a silver needle before placing it in front of Huiyi. Please enjoy, Your Majesty. Huiyi's cold, sharp eyes swept over the steaming bowl of fermented rice soup. He slowly raised his hand, looking quite reluctant. As I stood there with my head bowed, waiting for the emperor to speak, I heard the mocking laughter of concubine Yu. The palace has the imperial kitchen to serve the emperor's meals. For Jiang Xianshi to bring out this kind of trash? Isn't that just showing off in front of an expert? Scattered laughter immediately broke out across the banquet. The gazes directed at me were particularly hostile. Huiyi has many concubines, all from prominent families. I am the only one who got in because of my looks. Yet Huiyi is preoccupied with the imperial court and never sets foot in the harem. These noble ladies are going stir-crazy, so they teamed up to pick a scapegoat to bully. I am that scapegoat. Today, to get noticed by the emperor, all the concubines showed off their best talents, but none of them could make Huiyi look twice. Since they didn't get any favor, they only hope I end up even worse. But if I hadn't heard Huiyi's inner thoughts, I really would have believed them. Full. This is hot food that goes into the mouth, food that needs to be chewed to be swallowed. So there is actually hot food in this world. Then what was that cold porridge and greens I've been eating from the imperial kitchen? Delicious. This skill is much better than the imperial kitchen. With so many people in the palace, only this one has the sense to bring me something to eat. Is she trying to serve in bed? Why don't I remember there being a Jiang in the palace? I stood there, feeling like my ears were about to explode. I resisted the urge to look up, my brow furrowed. Why does this emperor have so much to say? Shangha. Huiyi took a small sip of the fermented rice soup. His expression remaining cold and stern, he put down the spoon and gave a mediocre evaluation. Thank you, Your Majesty. I bowed but muttered to myself. Still putting on an act. Passable? I wonder who was thinking it was delicious just a moment ago. Ever since I transmigrated into this book, I haven't been able to eat or sleep well. Luckily, I have good cooking skills. I spend my monthly salary on the small kitchen to feed my own stomach. I knew the palace banquet would definitely be, so I specially made a bowl of fermented rice soup with plenty of ingredients. It all ended up in the emperor's stomach. Jiang Xianshi, come sit by my side. While the people below were whispering and laughing, Huiyi's words instantly made the entire banquet silent. I looked at noble consort Jia, who was sitting to Huiyi's left. My mind was full of question marks. Has my fermented rice soup become so delicious that I get the same treatment as a favorite concubine? But I dare not question the emperor's will. So I could only bite the bullet under the hateful gazes of everyone, and slowly sat to Huiyi's right. The concubines below were so angry they could have ground their teeth to dust. If they had known that sending a bowl of soup could catch the emperor's eye, why would they have spent months practicing their talents? A wooden block. I was sitting there stiffly, when I heard Huiyi's cold inner voice again. A quiet person? Is he talking about me? I looked at noble consort Jia, who was chattering and laughing in front of Huiyi, and lowered my head even further. If he wants to call me a quiet person, so be it. I don't have a general for a father fighting on the front lines, so how could I have the guts to flirt with the emperor? Although I haven't been in this book for long, I've watched plenty of palace dramas in the past. Someone like me with no talent, no imperial favor, and no family background. Once I show my face in public, I'll just end up as cannon fodder and be written out early. I just want to live a few more days. The performances started again below. However, Yu Ronghua, who was dancing now, was quite bold and innovative. Wearing Western region's attire, her dance was graceful. Large patches of her snow-white skin were exposed. Her chest soft and fragrant, so tempting that even I, a woman, wanted to bury my face in it. I couldn't help but mutter to myself, could it be that he doesn't like women? Ever since I transmigrated here, I haven't seen Huoyi flip any concubine's tablet. Just as I was wondering, the dull, hoarse voice in my head sounded again. So big. So hungry. I was suddenly shaken. I thought the emperor intended to spend the night with Yi Ronghua. But when I turned my head, I found Huoyi staring straight at the plate of crabs in front of him. The supreme ruler, the monarch of a nation. The way Huoyi was looking at the crabs right now was as aggressive as if he were eyeing a neighboring country's territory. It's been so long since I've had crab. Can't Wang Degui have a little bit of sense and peel a crab for me to eat? Wang Degui is the head eunuch who has served Huoyi for years, and his daily life and diet are all handled by him. I watched Huoyi's hateful gaze and only felt that the emperor was pitiful, being an emperor being watched all day long and not being able to crack open a crab in public. This life as an emperor is truly uncomfortable. Sister Yi, this dance is interesting, but... After the dance, noble consort Jia was the first to belittle Yi Ronghua's dance. Now they are all fighting to be the first concubine to serve the emperor in bed, no matter how much they pretend to be sisters. At this point, they're ready to tear each other apart. Noble consort Jia grabbed Huoye's arm, refusing to let his gaze linger on Yi Ronghua. Your Majesty hasn't eaten much tonight. This water spinach tastes good. Please try some, Your Majesty. Saying this, noble consort Jia picked up a few vegetables for Huoyi. Palace meals are always light, especially for the emperor. To avoid disturbing his mind, greasy meat is never served. I don't want to eat vegetables. I get a headache just seeing green things now. As the supreme ruler, don't I even have the right to eat meat? Are these crabs served for the Mid-Autumn Festival just for show? Where are my crabs? Huoyi noticed that a few crabs were missing from the plate. The next moment, a fair, slender hand reached out. Snow-white crab meat and orange crab roe were peeled clean and placed together in the crab shell. The steaming crab meat was fragrant. I had put in quite a bit of effort, using the crab-eating tools to pick it all out. If it were me, I would have just bitten into it. Please enjoy, Your Majesty. I respectfully handed over the crab shell, my expression respectful and without a hint of sycophancy. I don't have the desire to compete for favor like the others. I just heard Huoye's inner thoughts and simply felt he was a bit pathetic. Besides that, I was thinking if the emperor was in a good mood, could he transfer me away from Jinhua Palace? Don't let me suffer concubine use bullying all day long anymore. Wang Degui, it's a waste that you've been with me for so many years. You're not even as observant as a Xian Shi. Why don't you hurry up and peel a few more? Is this one enough for me to eat? I heard his inner thoughts clearly. But when Huoyi took the crab shell, he remained calm, his sharp-featured face showing no joy or anger. He picked up the crab meat with elegant and slow movements, not at all showing the excitement he felt inside. Satisfied, noble consort Jia saw that the water spinach she had picked was being ignored, and was so angry she gritted her teeth. I remained silent and started peeling the remaining crabs for Huoyi. Anyway, with my rank, this kind of thing wouldn't fall into my mouth anyway. After the banquet, sucking on my fingers would be better than just watching. Huoyi ate slowly. By the time he finished one crab, I had already peeled many more. Eating so slowly, who could tell he loves to eat them? No wonder head eunuch Wang doesn't peel crabs for him. Just as Huoyi was about to take the second crab, Wang Degui finally seemed to come to life and hurriedly stepped forward to dissuade him. Your Majesty, crabs are cold and should not be eaten in excess. With just that one sentence, Huoyi withdrew his hand and didn't look at the crabs again. I lowered my head, rubbing my red and swollen fingers, and my brain exploded again. Sooner or later, I'll behead Wang Degui. An emperor cannot let others guess his likes and dislikes. But that doesn't mean I have to go hungry. I've already peeled 3 crabs, and I don't know whose stomach they'll end up in later. The palace banquet was nearing its end, and it was almost 9 p.m. I was already so sleepy I couldn't keep my eyes open, clutching my sleeves tightly. Just now, when no one was looking, I had already stuffed all 3 crabs into my sleeves. 3 months. I can finally eat something good when I get back to the palace. Your Majesty, the Empress Dowager has given orders that you must flip a tablet tonight. Wang Degui dragged the wooden tray forward, on which a dozen or so green-headed tablets were listed. Huiyi has been on the throne for 3 years. Besides the relatives sent by the high officials of the previous court, there was also a selection of concubines, so the harem is quite full. But Huiyi used the excuse that his position was unstable after just taking the throne to sleep in the imperial study every day, and not a single concubine has ever seen what Huiyi's sleeping robe looks like. Although the Empress Dowager is not Huiyi's biological mother, she is concerned about the continuation of the imperial line for the sake of the country. Tonight, she has even brought the matter of flipping the tablets out into the open. We'll discuss this later. Back to the palace. Huiyi looked impatient. He stood up, flicked his sleeves and left. The concubines, who had been eagerly waiting to be chosen, instantly turned cold and looked utterly disappointed. They were all selected for the palace in the prime of their youth. They had wealth and status, but what kind of life is it to live like a widow? Xiao Zhao. Quick, rub my waist.
I'm exhausted.
As soon as I returned to my west side palace, I started shouting for my personal maid to come and serve me. Xiao Zhao was the maid the original owner brought from her home in Jiangnan. She wasn't very bright, but she was loyal. I'm here. How did you get so tired, my lady? My rank is low, the second to lowest kind of low. I didn't even have the status to bring a maid to the palace banquet tonight. Naturally, Xiao Zhao didn't know that I had sat beside the emperor for an hour without daring to move. But before Xiao Zhao could even touch me, the palace door was kicked open. It was Lady Jiang, the selected concubine. Consort Yu requests your presence. The person who arrived was Chuiying, Consort Yu's head maid. She looked at me with an arrogant expression, as if she were the mistress herself. Xiao Zhao was so angry she stomped her feet. How can you just barge into a mistress's bedchamber like that? I pursed my lips and pulled Xiao Zhao behind me. I've watched plenty of palace dramas. I know that in the eyes of the servants, a low-ranking concubine without favor isn't considered a mistress at all. I could also guess that Consort Yu calling for me couldn't be anything good. It was probably just because I sat next to Huiyi at the banquet tonight. A quarter of an hour later, I was kneeling on the carpet of the main hall of Jinhua Palace. Luckily, the carpet cushioned my knees so it wasn't too painful. Selected concubine Jiang, do you know where you went wrong today? Consort Yu sat on the main throne, looking down at me, unable to hide my beauty even in my plain attire. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. She had clearly cut off most of the selected concubine's allowance. My hairpins and clothes were so simple. So how did the emperor still notice me and keep me by his side? I don't know, please enlighten me, Consort Yu. Consort Yu gave a cold snort. You were clearly wrong for trying to curry favor and acting inappropriately. I put on the humble and respectful mask of a weary worker. You are right to lecture me, Consort Yu, but I don't feel I deserve this. I just served a bowl of soup and peeled a crab. How is that trying to curry favor? They were too blind to see the emperor was hungry. I just brought him some food, and it was an eyesore to them. Since you know you're wrong, then kneel outside the hall all night and reflect on it. All night, I was reluctant, but I agreed with a sullen face. I have to find a chance to move out of Jinhua Palace. But before I could even stand up to go kneel outside, a eunuch from the Imperial Household Department rushed in. Why isn't Lady Jiang in her own palace? Why did you run to Consort Yu's place? You've made me search everywhere. Great news, my lady. The emperor has summoned you to serve him tonight. What? Serve him? My brain exploded into fragments. As I turned, I met Consort Yu's gaze, which was full of jealousy. Serving a bowl of soup is considered currying favor? If I come back after serving him tonight, I'll surely be blamed for causing chaos in the harem. Don't delay, my lady. The emperor is waiting. The little eunuch urged me on. With my mind blank, I followed him out. I just wanted to leave Jinhua Palace, to live somewhere far away. Away from all the drama, The emperor hasn't stepped foot in the harem for 3 years. Is it really normal for him to summon me because of a bowl of soup? Halfway there, I suddenly realized, wait a minute. I haven't bathed or changed. I didn't even take the imperial carriage. Is the emperor's first time summoning a concubine this casual? On the way, the little eunuch explained. Don't take it to heart, my lady. It's a bit rushed tonight. But you are the only one receiving this favor, aren't you? Let me give you a heads up. The emperor is in a bad mood. Be careful with your words and actions. The little eunuch swallowed hard, looking at my small frame with some concern. Tonight, the emperor couldn't win against the empress dowager. He looked at the tablets from the imperial household department, and in the end, he specifically chose the selected concubine. You see, consort, you used to spend money to have my name removed from the list. But after tonight, I don't know if I'll be a sensation or if I'll be thrown into the cold palace. After all, the emperor is indeed displeased right now. The emperor is usually bad-tempered. While he doesn't kill servants, when he's angry, he's known to smash things or kick people. Selected concubine Zhang's body probably couldn't even take half a kick from the emperor. Yes, thank you for the advice, eunuch. I entered the hall of mental cultivation. My mind was still foggy and I couldn't clear it. Since you're here, what are you standing there for? Only when Huoyi spoke in a low voice did I take heavy steps forward with my head bowed. So annoying, all he does is flip tablets all day. I can't even get enough to eat. How would I have the energy to give the Empress Dowager a grandson? This life is just like this. It doesn't matter if I'm not a man. I have no energy to give birth. Selected concubine Zhang cooking soup and peeling crabs for me wasn't bad. I should just find an excuse to let consort you take her back. I really have no energy, I'm sorry. Before he finished, I fell to my knees with a thud. My eyes were filled with panic. Your Majesty, if you don't want to summon a concubine, you can't just play with me like this. Consort you is already treating me like a thorn in her side. If I'm taken back by consort you, I'm afraid I won't even have money to cook in the small kitchen anymore. Your Majesty, please forgive me. I came in a hurry today, and haven't bathed or dressed, so I dare not offend your royal presence. How about I just massage your shoulders and legs and serve you while you rest? My heart was pounding in my chest. I was scared to death. I only knew that if I really went back to Jinhua Palace tonight, it would definitely be more than just kneeling all night. I didn't intend to serve him in bed, but even if I just spent the night here, becoming the first concubine to serve him, my life would definitely be better. This selected concubine is sensible, but I'm starving. I really don't want to chat with a woman anymore. I'll just send her away. Hearing Huoye's inner thoughts, I gritted my teeth and closed my eyes, taking out the 3 crabs I had hidden in my sleeves for half an hour. I brought back some things from the banquet today. I wonder if your Majesty is interested? When I showed him those 3 crabs, Huoye's eyes visibly lit up. Crabs. The selected concubine brought the crabs back. And they're already peeled. Need I ask? Why are you kneeling there like a fool? Why don't you hand them to me? Are you waiting for me to go get them? I had a headache listening to this. Your Majesty, you didn't say anything. How would I know if you wanted them? You usually don't say a word. How is any servant supposed to know what you mean? I handed over the 3 crabs, watching Huoye eat them slowly, while the voices in his head were boiling over. So what if crabs are cold in nature? I want to eat them. I'll eat them all at once and annoy Wang Degui to death. It's a pity there are only 3 crabs. I'm still not full. But it's much better than before. With so many people in the palace, only one selected concubine knows how to feed me. I'll have them all executed one day. This is the umpteenth time I've heard Huoye talk about executing everyone in the palace. Although I know Huoye might just be venting, I still can't help but be afraid. After all, he is the emperor. I'm just a low-ranking concubine. And I don't have a general for a father to back me up. If I don't serve him well, let alone live a peaceful life, just staying alive is a struggle. Huoye had already finished eating by now. The crab shells were tossed aside, and he was resting his hands on his knees. Is the selected concubine blind? She doesn't know to wipe my hands? I'll kick her out in a moment. My heart was trembling. I hid the crabs for so long, not daring to eat a single bite, and let the emperor eat them all. How can he be so ungrateful, and want to kick me out? I hurriedly brought a basin of water, served Huiyi as he washed his hands, and wiped them clean with a cloth, before daring to look up, trembling with fear. Then I'll serve the emperor as he sleeps, and rest on the small couch in the outer hall. Before Huiyi could open his mouth to kick me out, I proposed a solution first. The selected concubine doesn't want to serve me in bed? Does she have a lover in the palace? This inner thought almost made me faint on the spot. Serving him won't work, not serving him won't work either. Your Majesty, if you want to kill me, just give me a straight answer. Your Majesty is tired from state affairs today and drank quite a bit of wine at the banquet. My status is lowly, and I dare not disturb your rest. I felt so humble. Even worse than the worker I was in my past life. After all, making a mistake in the palace really costs you your life. Under Huiyi's burning gaze, I braced myself for a long time before he spoke. Then go rest in the outer hall. Do not mention tonight's events to anyone. I let out a huge sigh of relief, and immediately knelt to thank him. Rest assured, Your Majesty, I will not say a word. Having heard Huiyi's inner thoughts for so long, how could I not know what he's wary of? It's nothing more than not wanting the Empress Dowager to know that the concubines he summoned for the night ended up sleeping in the outer chamber. But as soon as I turned to leave, I heard his inner murmurs. I ate 3 crabs in one go today. If Wang Degui finds out, the Empress Dowager will nag me again. She doesn't seem like someone who can't keep her mouth shut. If she dares to blab, I'll sew her mouth shut. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead. So the emperor is worried about the Empress Dowager finding out about the crabs. Sleeping in the outer chamber all night, I didn't rest well. Throughout the night, the voices in my head never stopped. One moment he's shouting that he's hungry, the next he's saying these women in the harem are so annoying. If only they could all just drop dead. Then there's the ministers, can't they stop annoying me? Always crying about the suffering of the people, I'm not even full myself. Tossed and turned like that all night. I got up before dawn. My dark circles were no better than a panda's. Before the eunuchs and maids came in to help him wash, I had already entered the inner chamber to help Huiyi get up. Your Majesty, the time has come, it's time for court, with no empress. Except for the monthly greeting at the palace, I usually sleep until noon. Occasionally, concubine Yu likes to throw her weight around and makes me kneel early in the morning. Court is early, so I had to get up even earlier today. When I woke Huiyi up, his sharp eyes were weary, with a sense of detachment as if he'd seen through the world. Going to court on an empty stomach again. Why am I still alive? As I was tying his dragon robe, I heard his near-desperate inner thoughts explode. The rule of past monarchs is to have breakfast after court, getting up at 4 a.m. and not eating until 8 or 9 a.m. Just thinking about it makes me suffer. Taking advantage of Huiyi just rinsing his mouth, I secretly took the apricot blossom cakes from the table in the outer chamber, wrapped a few in a handkerchief, and hid them in my hand. I had intended to sneak them back to my palace as a snack. After all, the snacks in the Yongxin Palace must be better than mine. But I saw Huiyi sneak a few glances at them. But because Wang Degui was still serving nearby, he couldn't make a move. Your Majesty, your court beads seem a bit crooked. I stepped forward, blocking Wang Degui's view, and secretly slipped the handkerchief with the cakes into Huiyi's palm. The morning court is long. Please take care of your health, Your Majesty. My words came out of nowhere. But when Huiyi felt the soft pastries in his palm, his pupils widened visibly. What is this? Could it be apricot blossom cake? Selection Jiang, you really please me. Those ministers are so long-winded. I can sneak a few bites while they talk nonsense. I won't have to be so hungry my legs go weak this morning. Huiye's sudden cheerful tone startled me. Just a few apricot blossom cakes could make the emperor this happy? How starved must this poor guy have been? Selection Jiang is promoted to Changzai with the title Zhuang. Tell the Imperial Household Department to send more rewards. As I pulled my hand back, I heard the good news hit me. Although a higher rank isn't necessarily a good thing for me, at least the rank of Changzai is still low. The important thing is the rewards. With rewards, life will be easier from now on. Thank you, Your Majesty. I was overjoyed. As I knelt to thank him, I couldn't stop the corners of my mouth from curling up. As Huiyi left for court, I stared at his back and heard the voice in my head start up again. I gave her rewards. She should know to send me food now, right? But she doesn't even have that much sense. I'll demote her rank tonight. I curled my lip, muttering to myself that this emperor has nothing but food on his mind. Congratulations, Changzai Zhuang. You are the first concubine the emperor has favored. Wang de Gui knows how to read the room. Seeing that Huiyi treats me differently, he changed his address for me immediately, even before the ceremony, but then turning his head, Wang de Gui looked at the empty plate on the table and asked curiously, weren't these apricot blossom cakes just brought in? How are they already empty? I licked my lips awkwardly. I was a bit hungry just now, so I ate them to fill my stomach. Wang de Gui was suspicious but just smiled and agreed. You have a good appetite, Changzai Zhuang. If you like them, I'll have the Imperial Kitchen send a few more plates. Then thank you, Eunuch Wang. Although I'm not exactly a favorite concubine, at least I've become the first one to serve the emperor. The head eunuch is sucking up to me. If I'm not smart enough to play along, once Huiyi loses interest in me, I won't have such good treatment. When I returned to the palace today, I was carried back in a sedan chair. Passing by other palaces, the looks I got were as if they wanted to skin me alive. It was still early, but the news of my promotion had already spread throughout the palace. Since entering the palace, these people have treated me like a pushover for 3 years, bullying me for 3 years. They were all sharpening their heads to compete for favor. But who would have thought that the one who climbed into the dragon bed was the one they looked down on the most? Promoted in just one night and even given a title. If she shows her face in front of the emperor a few more times, that would be terrible. At Jinhua Palace, concubine Yu was scolded by noble consort Jia early in the morning. The content was nothing more than her poor management, letting a mere selection dare to show her face and stand out before the emperor. Now concubine Yu sat in her palace, waiting for me to return with a gloomy face. Noble consort Jia has spoken, telling her to discipline me, Changzai Jiang. Paying respects to concubine Yu. This was my first time serving, and according to the rules, I had to pay respects to the head of the palace immediately. Now I was kneeling on the ground, bearing concubine Yu's murderous glare. Something felt wrong. I've been promoted. Among the concubines, could concubine Yu still be planning to deal with me? Well done, Jiang Huan. I didn't realize you had such seductive skills. You flatter me, concubine Yu. I wouldn't dare. I hung my head, still not daring to breathe. How come I feel like my promotion didn't change anything? Chuang, teach Changzai Zhuang what the rules are. Concubine Yu ordered through gritted teeth, and I saw Chuang rubbing her wrists as she approached. My whole body started shaking like a sieve. Although I've only been in this book for 3 months, I inherited many of the original owner's memories. Whenever concubine Yu was in a bad mood, she would have Chuang beat me to vent her anger. Since I arrived, I've been well behaved. And although I've had my food and clothes docked and been punished with kneeling, I hadn't suffered the indignity of being beaten. Before Chuang could get close, Xiao Zhao opened her arms, protecting me like a mother hen. Concubine Yu, please be careful. Our Changzai still has to send food to the emperor later. If the emperor sees any marks, it won't be easy to explain. Cold sweat poured down my forehead. I understood Xiao Zhao was trying to protect me. I had mentioned to her on the way back that I wanted to prepare more food for the emperor today. She took it to heart. But the way this silly girl said it sounded so much like a threat. Sure enough, the next second, concubine Yu stood up, gnashing her teeth. You dare to threaten me? Just one night of favor and you're already getting ideas. Thinking of showing off in front of the emperor? Concubine Yu looked left and right, and simply pushed Chuang aside. And with her own heavy nail guards, slapped me across the face. My cheek turned red instantly. Changzai Zhuang, since you've been favored, behave yourself. You think you can show your face to the emperor looking like that? Today's matter was ordered by noble consort Jia. Even if you were sending food to the king of heaven, you'll have to endure this for me. My order is, Jiang Huan is not allowed to step out of Jinhua Palace. When I returned to my own West Side Hall, I felt like the sky was falling. This fake night of favor doesn't seem like a good thing at all. Concubine Yu is already relentless, and now? Noble consort Jia holds a grudge against me too. And now that I'm not allowed to leave Jinhua Palace, there's no way to send food to the emperor. I guess by tomorrow morning, the order for my demotion will arrive. Xiao Zhao was frantically applying medicine to my face. Don't be afraid, mistress. You prepare the food, and I'll go out and deliver it to the emperor later. I'll definitely help you bring the emperor here to deal with concubine Yu for her abuse of power, Xiao Zhao promised me, patting her chest confidently. I slowly pulled her hand away. Xiao Zhao, you don't need to do that. Promise me. Don't talk to them anymore. Let me do the talking. If it weren't for this silly girl's threat, maybe I can avoid another slap. But looking at Xiao Zhao's red-rimmed eyes, I couldn't bring myself to say a word of blame. I should just blame my own uselessness. If I had a higher rank in real power, no one would dare stop Xiao Zhao from venting her anger. In the Hall of Mental Cultivation, memorials piled up like mountains. Hui Yi, who was once full of vigor, now had a hollow look in his eyes. The apricot blossom cakes I gave him this morning were long gone. Breakfast was a meal of cold rice. Lunch was just plain porridge and greens. Dinner was no escape from this healthy diet. Thinking about his stomach suffering again today, Huiye's expression grew even darker. Hasn't noble Lady Zhuang come by? Huiye glanced at the sky outside. It was almost time for dinner. This noble Lady Zhuang really has no sense at all. It's so late and she doesn't even know to send him some food. Wang Degui, standing to the side, smiled. If your majesty wishes to see noble Lady Zhuang, this servant can go summon her for you. No need, Huiye replied with a cold face, his voice clearly more pained than before. The smile on Wang Degui's face froze. He didn't dare say another word. Having followed the emperor for so long, he still couldn't figure out his temper. One moment he wants someone, the next he doesn't. Huiye rubbed his stomach through his dragon robe, feeling like he didn't even have the strength to be angry. Right now, what he saw before him wasn't memorials, but rows of plump white sweet rice balls. Rich fermented rice wine. Sweet delicious rice balls. A bowl of that would be so satisfying. Damn it. I'll demote noble Lady Zhuang tonight. Your Majesty, concubine Yu is here. Huiye was in a foul mood right now, and Wang Degui was terrified as he stepped forward to report. Tell her to get lost. Wang Degui swallowed hard and spoke up timidly again. Concubine Yu says noble Lady Zhuang is feeling unwell, so she is here to deliver something on her behalf. Huiye's ears perked up, and he immediately set down his vermilion brush, though he still maintained an icy, indifferent expression. Tell her to come in. Wang Degui immediately beamed. Right away. As he turned, Wang Degui made a mental note. Noble Lady Zhuang is currently the top favorite. Just mentioning her name is incredibly effective. Concubine Yu. The emperor is summoning you. Concubine Yu's face lit up with joy. and she immediately signaled Chuang to carry the food box into the hall. Your Majesty, I prepared some sweet rice balls today. Thinking you must be busy with state affairs, so I brought them immediately. Huoye's gaze faltered for a split second. Then he tried to avoid looking at the food box. Please, Your Majesty. A small bowl was handed to Huoye. He felt a wave of disappointment. The bowl was mostly soup with only 4 rice balls. Not even as big as an eyeball. Is noble Lady Zhuang being stingy with the ingredients? Yesterday's rice balls were clearly half the size of a fist. He popped one into his mouth. Huoye's furrowed brow didn't relax at all. The taste is wrong. It's nothing like what noble Lady Zhuang sent yesterday. But even if it wasn't delicious enough, the starving Huoye still patiently pretended to eat it slowly. It's passable. I still have state affairs to attend to. Concubine you may return. Concubine Yu clutched her trembling, excited hands, staring at Huoye with a burning, intense gaze. Your Majesty, I wonder if noble Lady Zhuang pleased you yesterday? She hasn't been in the palace long, and she has learned less than a fraction of my skills. I have prepared some surprises in my palace. I wonder if Your Majesty. Huoye listened, his fingertips tapping rhythmically on the memorial. So noble Lady Zhuang's skills were learned from Concubine Yu? Then this bowl of rice balls was also meant to tease my appetite. Fine. Go back and wait, Huoye said, though his tone wasn't gentle. It still left Concubine Yu overjoyed. By the sound of it, the Emperor intends to visit her palace tonight. If not for the palace rules, Concubine Yu would have skipped all the way back. My lady, the Emperor went to Concubine Yu's place. Xiao Zhao was applying ointment to my cheek, her little mouth pouting in anger. Let him go. What does that have to do with us? I spoke listlessly. Concubine Yu delivered food to the Emperor for me, and now she's been granted his favor tonight. Who knows what delicacies she'll list off. My status as the new favorite is likely a flash in the pan. Gone by tomorrow. Instead of wasting energy being jealous of Concubine Yu, I should think about how to survive. Xiao Zhao, did you buy that iron pot I asked for? I'm hungry. My dear lady, what time is it? You're still thinking about food? Xiao Zhao heard me still obsessing over that big iron pot, and was pacing in circles anxious. If Concubine Yu gains favor, she'll be lording it over us again. I rested my chin on my hand and looked at her calmly. Are you done? Then hurry up and bring the iron pot over. Xiao Zhao rolled her eyes in despair. Why is her mistress so indifferent to everything? I looked up at the sky and sighed. I'm grounded, what else can I do? Should I cry and make a scene? Big Huoye? I'm afraid before I could even wipe my tears and snot, a silk cord would be around my neck. Since I can't go out anyway, I might as well fill my stomach. As I spoke, I pinched a piece of pastry from the box and stuffed it into my mouth, my cheeks bulging like a squirrel stealing food. Xiao Zhao still had a bitter expression, looking at me with wide, pleading eyes. I had to use my final trump card. If I don't eat and I get thin and haggard, wouldn't Concubine Yu be laughing her head off? Once the Emperor sees a sallow-faced woman by his side, he'll be the first to banish me to the cold palace. We'll both be finished. That's what I said. But I didn't think that way at all. I don't want the Emperor's favor at all. In my past life watching dramas, so many women in the harem died because of fighting for favor. I'm just here to drift through life. Palace intrigue? No, that's not for me. It would be best if the Emperor completely forgot about me, letting me stay in this small palace, cooking something with Xiao Zhao in the small kitchen every day. That would be enough for me. Xiao Zhao's eyes flickered, persuaded by me, and she finally led me to see the pot I'd been dreaming of. Once in the small kitchen, I was in my element. I looked at the iron pot Xiao Zhao bought, and I was quite satisfied. Xiao Zhao, go fetch a fat goose. I'm going to make iron pot stewed goose today. Xiao Zhao ran off briskly after hearing this, and soon returned with a round, plump goose. I took the goose. My technique was as skilled as if I'd been a cook for years. My lady, with your skills, if you were outside the palace, you could definitely open a top-tier restaurant. Xiao Zhao's eyes sparkled. She couldn't even get a hand in to help. She stood by, full of admiration which I enjoyed. My hands moved quickly. Before I transmigrated into this book, I took good care of myself. I'd never let my appetite suffer. The iron pot was glowing red over the fire. I poured in a few spoonfuls of fragrant oil, the oil droplets dancing happily in the pot. I dumped the chopped goose pieces into the pot, stirring them with a spatula. The goose meat sizzled in the pot, and the aroma began to fill the kitchen. A quarter of an hour later, I lifted the lid. The steaming iron pot stewed goose gave off an enticing scent. I scooped the stewed goose into a large basin and sprinkled a handful of chopped cilantro on top. Rice. Ever since I transmigrated, I've often had Xiao Zhao eat with me. Xiao Zhao had long since gotten used to my changes over this period. She brought over 2 bowls of white rice and sat at the small kitchen table to eat with me. Xiao Zhao couldn't wait to pick up a piece of goose meat and took a bite. "My lady, this goose meat is so tender." I also picked up a piece of goose meat and took a gentle bite. This iron pot stew really hits the spot. Xiao Zhao ate with gusto, a bite of vegetable and a bite of rice, her cheeks bulging. "My lady, this iron pot stew you made. If the emperor tasted it, he would definitely love it." Thinking of the emperor's inner thoughts these past few days, I silently took another big bite of goose meat. He can't even get a hot meal. His stomach always feeling empty. Actually, being an emperor isn't all that great. The mistress and servants sat at the small table, eating and chatting, feeling completely at ease. On the other side, concubine Yu finally got to speak with the emperor because of a bowl of rice balls, and was too busy to pay any attention to me, only calculating how to gain more favor. The next day, just as the sky was brightening, concubine Yu was already being attended to by Chuaying, finished with her grooming. Without a word, she excitedly took her people to the kitchen. The kitchen staff saw this and hurriedly put down their work, kneeling to pay their respects. This servant greets concubine Yu. Concubine Yu held her chin high, not even sparing them a glance, clearly not wanting to speak to these people at all. Chuaying stepped forward. She waved her hand at the kitchen servants. "That's enough. You all get out." With the master's orders, how could the servants dare to disobey? They immediately acknowledged the order and left the kitchen. Only concubine Yu and Chuaying remained in the kitchen. Concubine Yu had cooked in the kitchen before, so she was generally familiar with where the ingredients were kept. She ordered Chuaying to bring over some glutinous rice flour. After washing her hands, she prepared to start making tangyuan. Seeing this, Chuaying hurriedly said, "Your Highness, you are of noble status. It's better to let this servant do such a small task." "No." Concubine Yu shook her head firmly. This was her future. She couldn't trust anyone else with it. Thinking of the emperor's reaction when she brought him tangyuan yesterday, concubine Yu's lips curled high. She felt exceptionally smug inside. The emperor likes the tangyuan I make. Of course, I must make them myself. Only then can I show my sincerity. Your Highness is absolutely right. Chuaying flattered her with a smile from the side. How could this servant's skills compare to yours? I was just being foolish. Concubine Yu was in a good mood, so she didn't dwell on Chuaying's words and focused on making the tangyuan. Chuaying helped out on the side and didn't forget to praise her. She didn't forget to praise her. Your Highness's craftsmanship is truly exquisite. Even the tangyuan are so delicate. Concubine Yu felt relaxed. Her movements became lighter. A quarter of an hour later, a bowl of tangyuan was successfully cooked. She carried the cooked tangyuan, returned to her room to tidy herself up, and then headed toward the Hall of Mental Cultivation with Chuaying. Wang Deguai learned of concubine Yu's intentions and went inside to report to Huayi. Huayi only slightly raised his eyelids, his expression cold and indifferent. He had just finished the morning court session and hadn't even eaten. Concubine Yu came at the right time. Send her in. Concubine Yu received the summons outside the door, straightened her hair, took the tangyuan from Chuaying, and walked into the room, swaying her waist with a charming look. Your Majesty, I have prepared some tangyuan with a different filling. Thinking that you had just finished court and hadn't eaten yet, I brought them over immediately. Huoye nodded faintly and gestured with his chin toward Wang Deguai. After Wang Degui tested them one by one with the silver needle, he placed them before Huiyi. "Your Majesty, please eat." Huiyi took the small bowl. These tengyuan looked a bit larger than the last ones. He scooped one into his mouth. The filling was too sweet, and the skin was a bit thick. What's going on? It's getting more perfunctory every day. Even though he didn't like it, he had been hungry since the morning court, so Huiyi still ate the few tengyuan in the bowl. Passable. It was still the same emotionless two-word comment, but it made concubine Yu even more certain that the emperor loved eating her tengyuan, especially the ones she made herself. Otherwise, why hadn't he mentioned Zhuangchangzai? As long as the emperor likes them. A flash of joy crossed concubine Yu's eyes, and the curve of her lips deepened. So it's actually this simple to win the emperor's favor. It seems she should work harder and cook more dishes for the emperor. After returning to her palace, concubine Yu was full of confidence. At noon, she made a few more dishes and sent them to the emperor. The taste was average, but they had the advantage of being hot. One chopstick of hot food. Another chopstick of hot food. Huiyi reached out frequently, eating elegantly and slowly. This was more like it. He was the emperor, the son of heaven. Only prison food should be cold. Concubine Yu smiled softly. "Your Majesty, if you like it, I can personally prepare your meals this evening." Huiyi lowered his eyes. Could it be that because he hadn't summoned concubine Yu, she was deliberately playing hard to get, not showing her true skills? Thinking of the tengyuan from that day, Huiyi wanted to taste just how good the skills of his concubine Yu really were. Huiyi put down his chopsticks and wiped his hands with the cloth provided by the eunuch. "Tonight, come to the Hall of Mental Cultivation." Concubine Yu was ecstatic when she heard this, but she maintained her composure on the surface and replied softly, "Yes, Your Majesty." Soon night fell. Concubine Yu stood before the bronze mirror, carefully grooming herself, wanting to show her most beautiful side to Huiyi. "Your Highness, you are so beautiful. The emperor will surely love it." Chuiying kept praising her from the side. Concubine Yu smiled slightly, her eyes filled with a hint of smugness. "Chuiying, go bring that plate of sweet and sour pork ribs over." Concubine Yu ordered. Chuiying immediately responded and brought over a plate of bright red, sweet and sour pork ribs. After everything was ready, the eunuch from the Imperial Household Department arrived to announce that concubine Yu was to serve the emperor. Concubine Yu took the cloak from Chuiying, covering her skin that was visible through her clothes, and then carrying the food box, she followed the eunuch toward the Hall of Mental Cultivation. Along the way, concubine Yu's mood grew better and better, a confident smile on her face, as if she had already foreseen tonight's success. Inside the Hall of Mental Cultivation, the dragon incense curled. When concubine Yu crossed the threshold with the food box, she deliberately took off her cloak and pulled her thin gauze outer garment down by half an inch. She had specially perfumed herself with the Hehuan incense gifted by the western regions today. The sweet, cloying scent mixed with the savory aroma of the sweet and sour ribs, making even Wang Degui frown. "Your Majesty," concubine Yu drawled, swaying her body as she twisted toward Huiyi. "I personally made sweet and sour pork ribs. Please have a taste." As the porcelain plate was pushed onto the desk, concubine Yu, not paying attention while swaying her body, splashed sauce onto the memorial, staining the characters with a brownish color. Huiyi frowned almost imperceptibly, staring at the plate of oily ribs, and put down the memorial. He leaned back against the rosewood chair. Did concubine Yu fall into a sewer and then bathe in perfume 10 times? It stank all the way to his head, but Huiyi's gaze flickered slightly, landing coldly on that bowl of sweet and sour ribs. Skills better than Zhuangchangzai's? What exactly were they like? For the sake of the food, Huiyi endured and endured. Picked up his chopsticks, took a rib and bit into it. The sugary syrup mixed with the fishy meat exploded in his mouth. Huiyi's Adam's apple bobbed with difficulty. His taste buds were bombarded, and his eyes went blank. Is this something a human can make? It's the first time I've seen something worse than the cold food from the imperial kitchen. Is this woman an assassin? Heavens! What did I do wrong? Why must I suffer this? Concubine Yu was completely unaware of this, her fingertips already climbing onto Huye's jade belt. Your Majesty, you are tired from state affairs. Why don't I massage your shoulders? She leaned in deliberately, her shoulder strap slipping down, revealing half of her peach-red bodice from her loose collar. Clack! The ivory chopsticks hit the desk. Not too hard, but crisp and clear. Huyi stood up slowly. The moonlight and candlelight intertwined, making his already tall figure look even more majestic and imposing. Concubine Yu was caught off guard, looking into his cold, icy eyes, and shivered in fear. Wang Degue. Huyi didn't even look at her, turning his back and flicking his sleeves. Throw this filthy thing out, person and plate alike. Concubine Yu was terrified, not understanding how the emperor could change his face so quickly. Your Majesty, please forgive me. I don't know how I offended you. She crawled a few steps toward Huyi, reaching out to grab his clothes. Huyi flicked his robe and stepped back indifferently, veins already bulging on his forehead. If you don't get out, do you want to die here? Concubine Yu lunged at empty air, hearing the final ultimatum. She stood there, her face pale, shaking like a leaf. Huyi showed no pity. Wang Degue, are you deaf? Wang Degue was trembling, answering repeatedly and hurriedly calling for people. Concubine Yu was carried out of the Hall of Mental Cultivation by two rough matrons. Her hair was disheveled, her dress stained with sauce, and she had even lost one of her embroidered shoes. A night watch eunuch passed by with a lantern, the dim light exposing her wretched state completely. The commotion was too loud, especially in the palace where every move was watched. The next day, all sorts of news about Concubine Yu's night of service spread. Have you heard? Concubine Yu's ribs made the emperor vomit in disgust. That's not all. It said she tried to seduce him by undressing, and was kicked out by the emperor. The emperor hasn't favored the harem for a long time, yet she thought she was an exception. How pathetic. In the West Side Hall, I was roasting sweet potatoes over the charcoal fire. Xiao Zhao was mimicking the gossip with great excitement, her joy overflowing. Her joy was overflowing, haha. My lady. I also heard that when Concubine Yu was dragged back to her palace, her thin gauze outer garment was torn in many places. She looked as wretched as could be. I lit a candle for Concubine Yu in my heart. Tell me, who shouldn't you provoke? Why provoke that moody emperor? Isn't that just asking for trouble? I don't understand. I just kept roasting my sweet potatoes. You can say these things in front of me, that's fine. But don't let any outsiders hear you. Xiao Zhao nodded with a grin. Don't worry, my lady, I know what I'm doing. Meanwhile, on the other side, Huyi was not in as good a mood as the mistress and her maid. His stomach was cramping from hunger, yet the table was piled with cold vegetarian dishes, wilted vegetable leaves soaked in murky soup. The tofu had an eerie grayish-white color. He was the emperor. Why was he forced to eat such things? Have the people in the imperial kitchen been feeding the silver they received to the dogs? Is someone embezzling from the national treasury? Are they so greedy that they can't even prepare a hot meal for him? Huyi rubbed his temples. Enduring it, he picked up some greens and ate them. The bland taste made his silver chopsticks tremble in his hand. His mind gradually drifted to the tangyuan sweet rice balls I had held that night. A few days have passed. Zhuang Changzai should be recovered by now, right? Could he summon Zhuang Changzai again? Consort Yu was in a foul mood because of the incident at the Hall of Mental Cultivation. She threw a massive tantrum in the Jinhua Palace. Shuiying was terrified that Consort Yu would make herself sick with anger, so she coaxed and persuaded her, finally convincing Consort Yu to go for a stroll in the Imperial Garden. Unfortunately, they hadn't walked far before they ran into Consort Li. Consort Li squinted at the pampered Consort Yu and deliberately raised her voice. Isn't this Consort Yu from Jinhua Palace? I heard that just yesterday you couldn't even stand straight outside the Hall of Mental Cultivation. Yet today you have the energy to come out for a stroll? Consort Yu did not back down. Consort Li, your sources are certainly well informed. Be careful, every bit of risk. If you're really that bored, why not copy a few more Buddhist scriptures to show your filial piety to the Empress Dowager instead of staring at others' favor all day? Those who don't know might think you're jealous of my favor. Consort Li and noble consort Jia have been rivals for 10 years, and she hates it when others mention the word favor. Back then, noble consort Jia remarked, "Consort Li, your appearance saves the emperor the trouble of gifting you cosmetics, making her the laughingstock of the 6 palaces. Now this lowly make consort you dares to step on her sore spot." Consort Li closed her round fan, a shadow of malice instantly rising in her eyes. "Sister, your tongue is sharper than sweet and sour pork. I'm afraid it wasn't the food that offended the emperor, but you who offended him. Sister, watch your words." Consort Yu dug her nails deep into her flesh, her face smiling even more coquettishly, but her voice carried a hint of cold charm. "No matter how bad I am, I'm still better than you, who can't even get a glimpse of the emperor." The green nameplates sent to the Imperial Household Department are gathering dust. I have some high-quality ones here. Why don't I lend them to you to sweep away the dust? Consort Li's expression turned ugly. No need. Even if I am not favored, I am still better than some sparrow that thinks it has flown onto a branch to become a phoenix. Consort Yu's expression finally faltered. Her voice turned sharp. "I had good intentions, yet you always twist my words. No wonder you're not liked." Seeing her being rude, Consort Li immediately retorted, "Good intentions? If they were truly good, you wouldn't have caused such a scene last night." "Consort Yu, are you trying to cause trouble for the emperor? Or are you looking for trouble for yourself?" Consort Yu was so angered by Consort Li's words that she was almost speechless. But it was true that she had lost face last night, and it was hard to argue her way out of it. Unwilling to be humiliated here, she gritted her teeth and turned to leave. But she was stopped by Consort Li's voice. "Consort Yu, don't be in such a hurry to leave. I still want to ask, when you were kicked out by the emperor last night, you even lost one of your shoes. Is that true? If you're so curious, then go pick it up at the door of the Hall of Mental Cultivation yourself." Consort Yu scoffed. "You really have a sharp tongue." "I'll wait and see, once noble consort Jia can no longer protect you. How much longer you can be so arrogant." Consort Li was so angry her fingertips trembled. "Then don't trouble yourself with my affairs." Consort Yu adjusted her hair and brushed past Consort Li. The two parted on bad terms. Consort Yu returned to Jinhua Palace with Chuaying. Feeling stifled, she smashed half the porcelain in the room, fuming with rage. Meanwhile, in the West Side Hall, I squatted in front of the stove, pinching the last bit of dusty flour at the bottom of the bag. I was on the verge of tears. Being unfavored, I endured it. Being scolded, I endured it. But having no food, I couldn't endure it anymore. Xiao Zhao hugged the empty jar and approached me, looking miserable. Her face was full of sorrow. "My lady, the rice jar is empty too. Xiao Zhao, heaven is trying to destroy me." I looked up at the sky and sighed. Resigned to my fate, I rolled up my sleeves and lifted the ceramic jar in the corner, pulling out half a piece of cured meat wrapped in a lotus leaf, and also grabbed a few green onions from the small pot. Let's just make do with this for now. If I'm not full, I won't have the energy to think of a solution. Looking at the few ingredients I had painstakingly gathered, I looked bitter and resentful, and picked up the pot to start cooking. When the sizzling meat pancakes were ready, Xiao Zhao swallowed her saliva. "It smells so good." "It smells even better than the food I used to smell in the imperial kitchen." I twitched the corner of my mouth, thinking of the food served to Huoyi from the imperial kitchen. Compared to that, of course it smells good. It's a pity the ingredients are gone, limiting my skills. "Let's eat." I sighed and placed the plate of pancakes on the table. If this were before, I would have at least plated it properly. Now, I glanced at the drafty window and chuckled to myself. Forget it, I'm not in the mood. The mistress and maid sat by the low table and began to eat. The crispy crust shattered between our teeth, and the salty, savory meat juices filled our mouths. Xiao Zhao gasped from the heat, but couldn't bear to spit out the pancake in her mouth. But as soon as she thought about the fact that the ingredients were all gone, Xiao Zhao's face fell instantly. Sigh, what a pity. If only we could bypass Consort you and buy our own ingredients. I don't know when I'll get to taste my lady's cooking again. Xiao Zhao's words gave me an idea, and a light bulb went off. I had a plan in mind. Who says we can't buy them? Xiao Zhao's eyes widened instantly, too busy to even eat the pancake in her hand. My lady, do you have a way? I winked at Xiao Zhao and smiled meaningfully. There are so many people in the palace. Who says we have to go out and buy ingredients ourselves? Xiao Zhao immediately understood what I meant. My lady wants to find someone to help us buy them, thinking that she could still eat my cooking in the future. Xiao Zhao was immediately happy, but she wasn't happy for even a second. Before her face was clouded with worry again. But who would be willing to help us? The ladies in the harem love to bully you. And the servants in all the palaces don't give you a good look either. I understood Xiao Zhao's concerns at a glance and guided her step by step. Which place in the palace has the most abundant ingredients? Xiao Zhao immediately realized. The Imperial Kitchen. The Imperial Kitchen is responsible for the Emperor's meals, and the harem consorts can hardly interfere. But we have no connections and no favor. What can we use to bribe them? Xiao Zhao was distressed, thinking it was completely impossible. My lady, the Imperial Kitchen is a lucrative place, and we are dirt poor. You silly girl. I tapped Xiao Zhao's forehead lightly and smiled slyly. Who says you can only bribe people with money? I took a bite of the pancake and beckoned Xiao Zhao over. Xiao Zhao leaned in suspiciously. I immediately told Xiao Zhao my plan. Xiao Zhao's eyes grew brighter as she listened. Xiao Zhao was so excited that she jumped up. I'll go now. I looked up at the suddenly tall Xiao Zhao and waved my hand. What's the rush? They aren't going anywhere. Eat first. But, no boots, interrupta Xiao Zhao and pulled her back down to sit. I stuffed another pancake into her hand. Look at this golden, fragrant pancake. Are you willing to give it up? Xiao Zhao couldn't bear to. Xiao Zhao chose to sit down and eat. I was very satisfied. I followed suit and took a slow bite of the pancake. So delicious. My cooking is really good. After we were both full, Xiao Zhao cleaned up, left the west side hall, and went to wander near the Imperial Kitchen. She quietly observed the servants coming in and out of the Imperial Kitchen. She carefully screened her potential targets according to her instructions. But before Xiao Zhao could make her choice, someone approached her first. A fair-skinned, kind-faced, slightly chubby young eunuch walked up to Xiao Zhao. He asked routinely, "Which palace are you from? And what's your name? What are you doing around here?" Xiao Zhao didn't answer. She carefully sized up the person in front of her. This build, these conditions. They perfectly matched the candidate the mistress described. However, with people coming and going nearby, it wasn't a good place to talk. Xiao Zhao looked around mysteriously, then whispered, "Eunuch, could we step aside to talk?" Deshan looked at Xiao Zhao strangely, wondering what she was up to. "What is it?" "I can't say it here." Seeing Deshan was reluctant to follow her, Xiao Zhao looked down at his stomach again. She pulled an oil paper parcel from her robe. "Eunuch, I'm here to ask for your help with something. If you're willing, I'd like to offer you this delicacy." He acted as if he'd heard something ridiculous. "Please, this is the Imperial Kitchen. What kind of amazing delicacy could this little maid possibly have? It's like trying to teach a master his own trade." Besides, he was Wang Degui's apprentice. He spent most of his time in the Imperial Kitchen, delivering dishes to the Emperor. What delicacy hadn't he tasted?
Deshan was unimpressed.
No matter how good your food is, Can it be better than what's in the imperial kitchen? Xiao Zhao answered confidently, of course. Eunuch, do you mind? Seeing she wasn't joking, Deshawn was a bit surprised. He gave her a suspicious look, and his curiosity was piqued. Since he was free anyway, he followed Xiao Zhao to a secluded spot nearby. What kind of delicacy? Let me see. Xiao Zhao stopped holding back.
Under Donchens expectant gaze,
She opened the oil paper parcel. A golden meat pie had lost its heat, sitting limply on a lotus leaf. The expectation in Deshawn's eyes vanished instantly. He snorted through his nose. Just this? Xiao Zhao, seeing his disdain, quickly said, Eunuch, don't underestimate this pie. Tastes amazing. Thinking he'd come this far, he figured he might as well take a bite. Deshawn picked up the pie and took a bite, just to get rid of the little maid, so she wouldn't keep pestering him. Although it had gone cold, the crust was still crispy and delicious. The savory meat filling exploded with flavor in his mouth. Deshawn froze for a moment. Then his eyes lit up, and he couldn't help but take another bite. He had never eaten anything this good. He ate bite after bite. Xiao Zhao saw Deshawn was hooked and seized the moment. She suddenly snatched away the remaining half of the pie. Oh my, Eunuch, you better not eat anymore. How could such coarse food be worthy of your palate? Wait. With the pie snatched from his mouth, Deshawn immediately grabbed her wrist. When he met Xiao Zhao's sly, smiling eyes, he realized he'd lost his composure and coughed to cover it up. I was just afraid of wasting food. Xiao Zhao knew she was halfway there. She knew her mistress's cooking was the best in the world. No one could refuse it. She handed the pie back to Deshawn smoothly. Only after Deshawn finished the whole pie did she speak up. How is it? Eunuch, I wasn't lying. As the saying goes, if you eat someone's food, you'll be soft-hearted.
Deschamp's attitude toward Xiao Zhao
lost its initial impatience. Tell me, what do you want me to help you with? Xiao Zhao immediately said, Eunuch, it's like this. My name is Xiao Zhao, and I'm a maid for Lady Zhuang. I'd like to ask you to help me buy some ingredients. Deshawn was curious. You're a maid serving a mistress. Why do you need ingredients? Eunuch, you don't know. Xiao Zhao said, her face falling. My mistress is constantly being shortchanged. In the palace, she has to walk on eggshells and watch everyone's mood. She has to cook her own meals. But now that she's been grounded for days, the meat pie I gave you today was the last of our food. Xiao Zhao spoke with a mournful tone, wiping her sleeves across her face, rubbing her eyelids until they were red. The day before yesterday, when my mistress cooked porridge, she had to use an embroidery needle to pick out the rice grains one by one. And look at my clothes. She lifted her skirt and shook it. There was a huge hole where there were oil stains. Just look at it. The rats were so hungry they chewed my hem like it was a pancake. She sobbed, pulled out a handkerchief, and blew her nose loudly. Please judge for yourself, Eunuch. This continues. My mistress won't even be able to afford to keep rats anymore. Deshawn listened for a long time, feeling a bit confused. Is there really a lady in the palace this miserable? Because of that meat pie, he could help a little. But he couldn't be too bold. All right. Stop crying about how miserable you are. The imperial kitchen has some green onions and noodles left. Do you want them? Is that all? That's all.
Deshawn answered firmly.
He wasn't the manager of the imperial kitchen, so giving her these was already pretty good. Xiao Zhao didn't believe him. How could the massive imperial kitchen only have this much? She wanted to ask for more, but Deshawn insisted that was all there was. Xiao Zhao had no choice, looking dejected. In the end, she took the onions and noodles. After all, something is better than nothing. After getting the ingredients from the imperial kitchen, Xiao Zhao didn't dare to linger outside, fearing complications that might lose her this only ration. Concubine, you stood behind a tree with Chuang. and sneered at Xiao Zhao's thief-like behavior. She hadn't kept an eye on Lady Zhuang for only a few days, and now the people in the West Side Palace were causing trouble again. Chuang, go take a look. What is she doing sneaking around? Chuang acknowledged and immediately went up to check.